Welcome, Age of Vintage Society. Sharon Tate was called a star before her first movie even came out. From the start, Tate was singled out by her sheer potential. She was destined for big, bright things, but to the world, Sharon Tate will always be the pregnant movie starlet cut down in her prime by the evil Manson family. It is worth to remember the tormented actress as a beautiful screen siren swept up in the early throes of fame. Why was Sharon Tate deeply attracted to domineering men since childhood? Make sure to watch the video until the end and leave your thoughts in the comments. If you are new here, join our wonderful community by subscribing to the Age of Vintage channel. By the late 1960s, actress Sharon Tate and director Roman Polanski were one of the prominent power couples of Hollywood. Actress Sharon Tate had a taste for dominant men, and it seemed like acclaimed Polish film director Roman Polanski fitted the bill completely. The man had power, both on the professional and personal front, that Tate was deeply attracted to this. Sharon Tate was just 26 years old when she became a victim of the Manson family murders. But she was so much more than that. She was an actress, wife, soon-to-be mother, daughter and friend. A natural beauty, she was kind and warm-hearted according to those who knew her well. She was a movie star and mother-to-be on the brink of superstardom. She was living her best life when it was abruptly cut short. But we're here to also talk about what she brought to those years she lived. Tate has long been reduced to being a footnote in a gruesome tale, but re-watching the work she did in film reveals a fuller, more human story. Tate was someone to be remembered, not for the way she disappeared, but for her life as a young woman trying to find both happiness and artistic fulfillment in an environment where her unusual beauty, even by Hollywood's extreme standards, made her both a hot commodity and uniquely vulnerable. Sharon Tate was born in Dallas in 1943. Her father, Paul, was in the United States Army, eventually rising to the position of colonel, and her mother, Doris, was a homemaker. Sharon was a stunner from the moment she entered the world. Doris entered the baby in her first beauty pageant at just 6 months old. Baby Sharon won Missy Tiny Tot of Dallas and later pageants as a teen. When Sharon was 9 years old, Doris gave birth to her second daughter, Deborah, and then 5 years later to her third child, Patricia. Before Deborah was born, Sharon had grown up as an only child. As part of a military family, she moved around a lot, and she even attended high school in Italy. In fact, she lived in 6 different US cities before the age of 16, and reportedly had trouble making friends. Her peers from that era thought she was aloof or unfriendly, but she was just shy. But she was also a tomboy. In some ways her personality was equal parts her mother and father. Doris was warm and affectionate, Paul was stoic, even brooding. Then in 1959 Colonel Tate was transferred to Verona, Italy, and his family soon joined him there at the US military base. Sharon was enrolled in the American high school at Verona, where she easily took to the European lifestyle. She made friends much easier there, and they often enjoyed ski trips together to the Alps. We now know that shortly after Sharon's high school graduation, she was date raped. She felt ashamed and told very few people about the assault, believing it would bring shame to her family. Sharon was incredibly beautiful, but she did not focus on her own looks, frequently eschewing makeup. In fact, she typically used only Vaseline on her lips in her daily life. She went on to win beauty pageants and was even crowned homecoming queen, when she finally made it to Hollywood around the age of 20. From a very early age, the young woman felt insecure. Her strict upbringing combined with her looks made her shy and scared, an anxiety that was further imposed upon her when, while still living in Italy and before getting into acting, she survived a sexual assault on a date with a young soldier. But Tate wanted to become an actress, and although her lack of confidence repeatedly got in the way of her career, experience helped her free her instincts. Tate's start in movies was, unsurprisingly, spawned by her striking looks. While living in Italy, she and some friends got parts as extras in the film Hemingway's Adventures of a Young Man, during which actor Richard Beymer, later to star as Ben Horne in David Lynch's Twin Peaks, noticed her. They dated and were engaged for a year. She was 18, he was 22, and he encouraged her to pursue acting, but all that followed was extra work and screen tests that led nowhere. For a time, Tate's agent Harold Gefsky and producer Martin Ransohoff confined her to the small screen, but her turn in 15 episodes of the TV series The Beverly Hillbillies helped unleash her comedic aptitude and certainly encouraged her self-confidence. As a dark-wigged secretary, Janet Trago, she played a little dumb, but with good comic timing and the lightness of an actress really enjoying herself. After more missed opportunities to appear on the big screen, in 1967, Ransohoff finally gave Tate a real part in one of his film productions, the bizarre horror fable Eye of the Devil. Tate's astounding beauty is her main tool in the film, as she plays an eerie witch living in an ominous castle with her family. Her brother is played by David Hemmings in a smart bit of casting. His clear eyes and blonde hair make him look pretty much like a male Sharon Tate, and terrorizing another family with strange rituals. Tate, her luscious hair glowing in the black and white photography, has her gigantic eyes painted in the style of the time, with dark kohl and heavy eyelashes emphasizing their bewitching effect. In a part that could easily have been laughably cliché, she proves genuinely mesmerizing, delivering her few lines with elegance and adopting a statuesque pose that fashion shoots helped her master. Eye of the Devil is not a good film, but Tate took it seriously. By the time she was 24, she had shown that she could play both ends of the spectrum, the clueless receptionist and the scary temptress. In the early and mid-60s, the Dallas-born blonde appeared on the small screen in TV series Mr. Ed, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. In follow-up features, she would share the screen with big-name co-stars Dean Martin and Orson Welles. While Valley of the Dolls was critically panned, the film earned Tate a Golden Globe nomination. In Roger Ebert's scathing review of the flick, also starring Barbara Parkins and Patty Duke, he did say Tate remains a wonder to behold. In the mid-60s, producer Martin Ransohoff introduced Tate to Polish actor and director Roman Polanski. They fell in love and got married in January 1968, days before her 25th birthday. In fashions fitting with the times, Tate wore a high-neck yellow mini-dress of her own design, her teased hair adorned with flowers. Polanski's ensemble included a jabot. Jacqueline Susan, a guest at one of the couple's wedding parties, remembered Tate was very happy, but she was completely under Roman's domination. He doesn't look it, but he must be a dominating man. Prior to marrying Polanski, Tate dated celebrity hairstylist Jay Sebring. Even after the nuptials between Tate and Polanski, the trio remained close friends. Sebring was among those murdered by the Manson family at Tate's Hollywood Hills house in 1969. By then, Tate was an up-and-coming 26-year-old movie actress, best known for her role as Jennifer North in 1967's Valley of the Dolls. Don't Make Waves is a slight and silly comedy surf movie in which Tate plays Malibu, a lifeguard who saves Tony Curtis from drowning and distracts him from Claudia Cardinale, a predicament to be wished upon no one. The dumb blonde image was not going to be easy to shed, but Tate was determined. Sharon's first major role in a movie was in The Fearless Vampire Killers, directed by her husband Roman Polanski. He was only convinced to cast her after seeing her reaction when he pulled a prank on her. He was also very hard on her on set, supposedly requiring 70 takes of just one scene. Although at first unconvinced, Polanski gave Tate the role of Sarah, a beautiful damsel in distress, in his following project, the comedy horror film The Fearless Vampire Killers. Wearing a red wig, Tate functions primarily as the object of affection for Polanski's character Alfred, the young horny assistant of a professor chasing vampires and falling prey to them. She first appears in the film when the duo walks in on her having a bubble bath, and although she remains scantily clad for most of the movie's runtime, her scenes with Polanski betray a genuine connection between them. The shoot apparently didn't start well, however. Polanski had little patience for Tate's insecurity and lack of experience, yet progressively she demonstrated that she could take directions and that the dynamic script, requiring a few moments of action comedy and a general vivacity, was not beyond her grasp. The Fearless Vampire Killers has gained in popularity as a memento of its director's youthful playfulness, as well as a unique historical document tinged by darkness. Even when trying to view Tate as primarily an actress not defined by her death or her relationship to the since very controversial Polanski, it is nearly impossible not to feel great sadness for the couple when seeing Sarah and Alfred exchange a tender kiss, perhaps Tate's most sincere in her entire short career. Tate's following feature was meant to be her proper beginning as a serious dramatic actress. Jacqueline Susan's novel Valley of the Dolls was a sensational bestseller. Tate talked excitedly to the press about feeling close to her character, Jennifer North, a gorgeous small-town girl dreaming of Hollywood fame, but devoid of talent and never taken seriously. The parallels with Tate's own experience arguably drew the actress to the part and helped her bring it to life. All these years of playing the dumb blonde were finally paying off, and if Tate sometimes leans a little too much into this cluelessness, she also brings to it a touching vulnerability. Tate was subjected to when she arrived in Hollywood because you could always improve upon a perfect physique. Tate's impeccable figure was not simply the result of good genes. A lot of hard work and ambition went into it, and her dedication to an industry that treated her, and most other actresses, like an object was visible in her body, as well as in her willingness to play a tragic character so similar to herself. Tate was nominated for a Golden Globe as New Star of the Year actress for her turn as Jennifer. Valley of the Dolls was panned by critics for its extravagance and its central performances. The last Tate-starring film to be released in her lifetime was the James Bond spoof comedy The Wrecking Crew, which premiered to positive reviews in February 1969. In August 1969, the newlywed couple was sent to welcome a baby in just a few weeks, as Tate was more than 8 months pregnant. But while hanging out with friends in her Los Angeles mansion one night, she died during what is now referred to as the Manson murders. The day after her murder, the New York Times described her as one of Hollywood's most promising young starlets, even though her television and film appearances were not primarily in leading roles. She made an impressive progress as a comedy actress as well as her Beverly Hillbillies days. Tate, although still growing in her skills, clearly felt more capable than ever. Only 26 years old at the time, she is the best part of this rather confused and only mildly funny spoof, and critics at the time recognised her as such. The actress Sharon Tate first made news as the star of movies like The Fearless Vampire Killers, which Time mocked as Blood on the Soapsuds Fair, but her name went down in history, and she became both the subject of a Mad Men conspiracy theory. In death, Sharon Tate was born into myth, an it girl with a canyon house, a famous director husband, and a beauty Hollywood craved as its mirror in an age of acid trips and biker gangs, a time when America was unmoored and the studio system was giving way to brash, young, independent filmmakers. Tate's iconic image continues to captivate decades after her death, inspiring beauty looks everywhere around the world. She was a mother, a wife, or simply a woman. It nevertheless makes clear that Tate is a symbol of the Hollywood machine itself. Sharon Tate has transcended her career in the 60s to become one of the great fashion and style icons of the 20th century and beyond. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new here, and if you want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. Now it is your turn. What do you think about the life and legacy of Sharon Tate? Tragically, we remember Tate more for what she never got to accomplish than what she did during her 6 years in Hollywood.